It started with a sound that didn't belong on that quiet suburban street, a low, growling thunder that rolled through the calm like a warning from the heavens. Engines. The deep rumble of Harley-Davidsons echoing off white picket fences and manicured lawns. Curtains fluttered. Dogs barked. Mothers paused mid-sentence. The afternoon sun glared off chrome and leather as four bikers turned the corner, their vests stitched with a fiery insignia that made hearts skip. Hell's Angels. They weren't supposed to be here. Not on this peaceful street where the loudest thing was usually a lawnmower or a child's laughter. But fate doesn't care about zip codes. As the engines idled, something cut through the noise, a smaller, softer sound. A voice so delicate it almost got lost in the rumble. "Sir, will you buy my bike?" The men looked around. The voice came from the sidewalk. A little girl, no older than 6. Her hair was light and messy, her dress clean but faded, and beside her stood a tiny pink bicycle with a white basket and plastic flowers drooping on the front. She was holding a cardboard sign in shaky letters. It said, "For sale." The bikers slowed. One of them, the smallest or maybe the kindest, cut his engine. The others followed, silence spreading over the street like a held breath. Neighbors peeked from windows. Even the wind seemed to stop moving. The man stepped off his bike. His name was Ryder, though his brothers called him Wolf. Tattoos traced his arms like a map of old pain, but in his eyes, there was a depth, the kind of quiet sadness that comes from losing too much. He knelt before the girl. "What's your name, kiddo?" "Mira," she whispered, clutching the sign tighter. Her eyes were wide but tired, too tired for a child. Behind her, under the shadow of a tree, sat a woman wrapped in a blanket. Pale, frail, and slumped against the trunk as if the world had drained every bit of strength she had. "My mom's sick," Mira said softly. "She hasn't eaten in 2 days. I was hoping someone would buy my bike, so I could get her food." For a long moment, Ryder said nothing. His jaw clenched. His eyes flicked toward the woman, then back to the girl. The pink bicycle gleamed faintly in the sunlight, a symbol of innocence standing against the weight of despair. "Where's your dad?" one of the bikers asked gently. Mira shook her head. "It's just us." Ryder's throat tightened. He'd seen hunger before, in the eyes of people who'd lost everything. But seeing it in a child, that did something to him. It scraped against the part of his soul he'd tried to bury. He took a breath. "Why don't you tell me what happened, sweetheart?" And she did. Her mother, Clara, had worked at a local catering company owned by a man named Mr. Hensley, a name everyone in town knew. He was the smiling CEO who sponsored school fairs, posed for charity photos, and bragged about kindness in interviews. But when the company downsized, Clara was among the first to be let go. She had begged for a little more time, just a few extra weeks so she could pay rent and buy groceries. But Hensley didn't care. He'd called her replaceable. Since then, Clara had fallen ill and too weak to find new work. Bills piled up, the fridge emptied, and pride kept her from begging for help, so Mira had taken her only toy, her bicycle, and decided to sell it for food. By the time she finished, Ryder's heart felt like it was splitting open. His brothers, Tank, Mason, and Viper, had been listening silently. They exchanged glances. They didn't need to speak. They'd all known loss, all carried ghosts. And right now, this child's pain was one they refused to ignore. Ryder reached into his vest, pulled out his worn leather wallet, and placed a thick stack of bills into Mira's trembling hand. "Keep the bike," he said, voice low but steady. "And tell your mom. Help's on the way." Mira blinked up at him, unsure if she should smile or cry. "Thank you, sir." He smiled faintly. "You can call me Ryder." But as he stood and turned toward his brothers, something in his chest burned. This couldn't be the end. He couldn't just hand over money and ride away. Not when someone's greed had put this little girl on the sidewalk with a cardboard sign. "Mount up," he said quietly. The others nodded, engines roared again. Not with menace, but with purpose. They rode straight to Hensley's office downtown. A glass tower that glittered in the sun, polished to hide the rot beneath. Inside, people in suits froze as the four men walked through the lobby. Boots echoed on marble. Every step felt like thunder. The receptionist's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Ryder didn't stop. He pushed open the glass door of Hensley's corner office. The CEO looked up, startled, his gold watch catching the light. "What's the meaning of this?" Ryder said nothing at first. He pulled out the small cardboard sign, Mira's for sale sign, and placed it gently on the man's desk. "That," he said, "is what your greed cost." Hensley frowned, confused. "I don't know what this—" Ryder cut him off. "You fired a woman named Clara. She begged you to keep her job. You turned her away. She's starving now. Her little girl is out on the street trying to sell her bike for food." The CEO's face shifted. "That's unfortunate," he muttered, defensive. "But I can't help everyone. Business is business." Tank stepped forward, slamming his gloved hand on the desk. "Business doesn't starve children." Hensley flinched. Ryder leaned in close. "You don't have to buy forgiveness," he said quietly, "but you do have a chance to do what's right." And for the first time, the man looked small, surrounded by four rough men who'd seen more truth in a child's tears than in all his boardroom speeches. They didn't threaten him. They didn't touch him. They just left the sign there, a mirror of his own reflection, and walked out to by sunset. The town was buzzing. The once proud CEO had anonymously donated a year's worth of groceries to struggling families, covered hospital bills for single parents, and rehired every worker he'd wronged, including Clara, and no one knew why. No one except a few bikers and a little girl with a pink bike. That evening, when the Harleys returned to that quiet street, Mira came running. Her smile was different now, wide, bright, full of light that had been missing before. Her mother stood beside her, thinner but standing tall. "Mommy got her job back," Mira said proudly. Clara looked at Ryder with tears in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you." He shook his head. "You don't owe us a thing. Just promise you'll never stop fighting." They shared bread that night. Bikers, a mother, and a little girl whose courage had changed more than just her own fate. The sunset spilled gold across the chrome and the grass. The cardboard sign lay folded in Mira's lap, its words smudged but still visible. "For sale." Except now, there was nothing left to sell. Only gratitude, hope, and a reminder that even the hardest hearts can still find their way back to kindness. Ryder watched the child laugh and felt something deep inside him ease. Maybe redemption didn't come from sermons or second chances. Maybe it came from small acts, from choosing to stop, listen, and care when no one else would. And as the night settled in, the engines cooled and silence returned to the street. For the first time in years, Ryder looked up at the stars and smiled. Because sometimes, all it takes is one little voice and one act of courage to make the whole world believe in kindness again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Loom. Every click helps stories of real kindness reach those who need hope the most. And tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Ryder's place? Because compassion, no matter how small, can still change the world.